And we are back, and we just finished watching 2023's The Killer, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 58 minutes. This is currently streaming on Netflix. This comes to us from director David Fincher, from a French graphic novel by Alexis Nolent and Luc Jacamon, with a screenplay credit to Andrew Kevin Walker. This stars Michael Fassbender as the title character, a nameless killer we find him at the beginning of this story on a job where a mistake happens, and then soon the repercussions of that mistake manifest themselves, and he now has to address some loose ends.
Yeah, I guess that would be a decent synopsis of it.
I feel like I should have liked this more, and yet I am very ambivalent about this film. I am very ambivalent because I felt like the first part where he's just doing all this internal monologue stabbed me. I just didn't care. It was cute maybe in the first 2 minutes, but after that 2-minute mark, it's like, wow, so this is what we're doing. And the beginning is very, very slow. And I think that the reason that it's very, very slow is because we're trying to show that this killer is very meticulous. But what happens when a meticulous person doesn't anticipate an event that happens, because he's not infallible, obviously, he's human. So there's a mistake that's made. And then again, how that mistake translates and how then he has to tie up those loose ends. It's a pretty movie.
Yeah.
It's a pretty movie. It's definitely better than the movie that we're going to pair it with.
God, anything's better than that.
And yet, it was as soulless as The Killer is. This movie, I don't know. I'm trying to think in my mind what could have made it better. In the beginning, instead of going the Smiths route, having him be like this adult child emo, how about you have him listen to maybe classical music, which I think is more indicative of like a professional, right? And instead of all of this talk in his head, show me what makes him meticulous, right? Show me how he gets bent out of shape, how something isn't perfectly aligned on a table, right? Show me why he is who he is, right? And then from there, you go to the botched job, and then you go to him racing home and finding what he finds. And then from there, I guess he can now start the second adventure. You would have saved so much time. And I think it would have been a nice juxtaposition between the beginning, this icy, professional, soulless character who now, because damage was done to a loved one, is now, all bets are off, and now he's becoming this more passionate thing.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, did you like that beginning? I hated it. In retrospect, the more I think about it, the angrier it makes me, because it's like, I feel like it was just too much. It was too much. Like I said, if it was 2 minutes, fine. It was more than 2 minutes at the beginning. And it's like, if you're going to do that, then show me this guy. Don't put me in his head. Don't care. Because he later does things that sort of contradict the things that he's saying. So now you've created this person who doesn't make sense to me, because his final action doesn't make sense to me. And I'm seriously grappling with that. And it infuriates me to an extent, because I've invested my time in this character. I want to like this character, and you don't let me like this character.
No, I agree. The beginning, it's super slow. I think maybe they want you to share in the boredom that he is experiencing. He says, don't take this line of work unless you are capable of enduring a lot of boredom. And yeah, the beginning of the movie is pretty dull. I mean, the only thing really holding your interest, I guess, is his chatter in his head. And he's basically there for like 2 days or something, waiting for this intended victim to show up.
It might have been more. Didn't he
May have been more, yeah.
Hodges, like,
yeah, I think before we even arrive into the movie, he's been there for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I think he said, I'll stay here for like 2 more days.
2 more days,
and
right.
That's it. And we get to stay with him for at least one of those 2 days. And yeah, it's it's a lot. I know you're in the beginning of the movie you establish the characters, and there's only one character. There's really only one character in this whole movie. It's him.
Everybody else is
everybody
secondary.
else is secondary. You don't really get much about them aside from, I guess, their little moniker and the chapter titles. And even then, I'm not really. I mean, it's not really much to go on, especially when it comes to the assassins. I mean, there's like the big guy, and then there's the Q-tip.
Yeah.
Or the expert.
Yes,
Who,
that was the
as
name.
far as I know, like what made her the expert. I don't know. There was no real. She told a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good-looking movie.
As Fincher movies are.
Everybody in it did their
Capable.
role well. They were capable. They were filmed beautifully. The sets, everything. But yeah, this is maybe if you really feel like digging into philosophies and whatnot, you could probably find something in there if you really look for it. But if you're just looking for a piece of entertainment,
This might not be it.
This ain't gonna fit the bill. This really isn't gonna do it. You might be bored. It's sort of a very
slow
A to
burn.
B sort of movie. He finds himself in a situation, and then he meticulously goes through the process of getting himself out of the situation by eliminating everybody that's causing a problem. And I guess, yeah, you've seen this before, but usually there's some other stuff going on in there that entertains you or dazzles you or leaves your jaw on the floor. There's none of that really here. There was a big fight scene in the middle. That was pretty well done. It was like a very brutal looking fight. But even that was
not enough.
It wasn't enough. It really wasn't enough.
The only thing that sort of tickled my fancy was the killer's monikers. The use of
old television show characters as his
throughout.
aliases throughout. It was fun. Oh, look, Reuben Kincaid. Hey, George Jefferson.
Yeah.
Archie Bunker.
Archibald
Bunker.
And it's funny because you hit it on the nose. I'm like, how do these people not know? But I guess they're not our generation. Most of those people behind the counter are super young.
All the people behind the counter are in their 30s. They have no
Maybe
idea
younger.
Who the hell
George Jefferson
is or any of these like old sitcoms.
Yeah, Felix Unger.
Does anybody below 40 know who the hell the Partridge Family is?
Felix Unger. Oscar Madison.
Did anybody watch The Odd Couple?
Although there was a mashup of Howard Cunningham.
Howard Cunningham was the dad.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I thought it was Ron Howard, Richie Cunningham. I thought it was a mashup of that.
Howard Cunningham
was the dad. Tom Bosley. You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I thought that was but that makes sense. Yes, that's what it would be because it would always be the right name. Okay.
I mean, he could have went the easy route and went with Richie, but no.
Yeah.
He picked Howard.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah, that was the only thing that I thought was kind of fun in this film. I mean, it is a beautiful movie. Again, the actors do a really great job. For someone who has a short amount of time, Tilda Swinton, of course, is always the GOAT. I mean, I'm just completely gaga for her whenever I see her.
Yeah, she's always great, but I gotta admit there's not really much to her in this movie.
There's not much to her to this movie, though.
She's not given a whole lot to work with. She does get to have a little monologue.
Yeah.
Because Fassbender says virtually nothing in their entire interaction with each other.
Right.
He just sits with her and lets her talk and talk and talk. And
that was another thing that bothered me, that he was so chatty in his head that he wasn't like that in the outside world. And that could possibly be a thing, but I think in order to keep the consistency, he should have been more soulless. At least in my view. And then, of course, the thing that really irritated me was the end, because I was like...
Well, I think it sort of made sense, the internal dialogue versus his external dialogue. His external dialogue was just pretty much all business. Mm-hmm. He just said what he needed to say to get the information he needed, and that was it. Yeah. He didn't even really negotiate with people when he was talking with them.
Right.
It was just sort of... tell me this. He didn't even when is interrogating the lawyer, his former boss. He doesn't say what he's doing when he does what he does. He just does it, and then in his internal mind, he says, "Okay, I have about 8 minutes or so, or 7 or 8 minutes," which obviously is a miscalculation
again.
Yeah, that I think that's another thing. It shows that he's not as flawless. Like, he wants to be perfect.
Right.
Oh my God, he clearly wants to be perfect. He strives for this perfection.
Right.
But he is not.
Right.
That's like his second mistake.
Right. Yeah.
So nothing.
I mean, if he had really thought about it, he would have pulled a Jack Bauer and like shot him in the kneecaps, right? Somewhere where it hurts.
Yeah, yeah. But then again, maybe he just didn't want him to yell. There were reasons for the things that he did, but yeah, he clearly was not as
perfect as he thought he was.
Perfect as he imagined. Like the real, I guess that's maybe there's some takeaway. The real world is a lot sloppier than what your perfect mind will
allow you to think it is.
Yeah. Somehow reality will fuck up the best laid plans.
Sure.
For the most part, though, he was pretty spot on. He got all of his objectives cleared. And
is that what we're going to call him?
I mean, honestly, it really felt like this movie felt almost like a video game in that it's just, your objective, do this, done, mission accomplished. Next mission, do this.
Yeah.
And it really felt like that because it was just like we're going from A to B to C to D, and everything he set out to do, he got. It never really got messy. Even he had like the big fight with the bruiser guy. It got a little dicey there, but he still won.
Yeah, he powered through.
I mean, I think initially he was probably just going to shoot that guy in the shower or something, and it didn't work out that way. Once again, reality screwing up your perfection. But it was still, plans. As far as the way the film was structured, it was still just like, this is step 4 in our 7-point plan. And I think that was another part of it that kind of like made it less interesting to me. Normally when you see stuff, lots of shit goes wrong. Lots of things happen. And one of his things was, what was it? Anticipate, don't improvise. And a lot of the entertainment comes in the improvisation.
Sure.
I wasn't wowed by it. Yeah, maybe I was led to believe that this would be something different.
What do you mean?
Like, I was expecting some more of like what I'm describing, just action and figuring out certain things and twists. There's no twists in this.
No, not really.
There's no twists, no turns, no surprises. It really is just, okay, I have to find the people who did this. I will go here. They will give me that information. I have that information. I have found the 2 people. I will go to the first person and I will kill them. I will go to the second person and I will kill them. I will go to the last person who organized the whole thing, and I will find out what they know and whether or not they are a threat. And I will
decide
what's necessary at that point. And that's exactly what happened. There wasn't any sort of like, oh my God.
But to me, it seemed like the last person was a loose end. And that completely, having seen that scene, that's the thing that truly soured me to this film.
I could totally see your way of thinking because, yeah, it is.
Because if you're so meticulous and you're so perfectionist, you're going to leave this loose end, a loose end that has money, that has resources, that has opportunity to maybe fuck you later in life. You're going to take that chance? Like, that didn't make any sense to me. Like, if you showed the getaway driver no mercy, who really had no dogs in that race, none.
He wasn't even a getaway driver. He was a cab guy who was hired.
He was just a cab guy who was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And he bit the farm.
Big fair.
Yeah, he bought the farm. And it's like, you didn't show that guy any mercy. Why are you showing the billionaire mercy?
Yeah.
That to me.
And then at the end of it all, he just goes back to his house.
Yeah. Yeah, when you go to a different place.
He's got all these like fake identities.
Yeah.
He should
do what
the lawyer said. Just take one of those many 100 identities that you've created.
And create a new life
disappear.
Somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
And he just goes back to his regular house.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me.
That was already attacked.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, it's...
Okay, so what could have made this better? Tell me, in your mind.
I guess, I don't know, more hardships along the way or something. I don't know. I got to be honest, this film made me feel as soulless as the Hitman.
Hitman.
I don't have any
I don't know how to feel about it.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't feel anything for this movie. Like
I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
By tomorrow, I won't remember anything about this film. There's nothing memorable about it at all.
Yeah, which
There's
is kind of sad because this is a Fincher film. I mean, here's a man who's cultivated some of the most iconographic tableaus in cinema. I mean, the movie Seven alone. You watch something like that.
I remember Seven. I remember Fight Club. I remember, hell, I even remember Panic Room.
Yeah, he did that too. But this is just a bump in the road.
It was like, I really want to do this, and I've got it done, and now it's done.
Yeah.
And it's like The Hitman. It's like, I need to do this. I did it. It's done.
You know what's so funny? I mean, not to sidetrack the conversation, but The Menu was on the other day.
The Menu. Oh, The Menu, yes.
With Ralph Fiennes. And it was that scene where Anya Taylor-Joy's character is like, you don't cook with love. You cook with obsession. Mm-hmm. And that sort of popped into my head because of what you said before, how Fincher is a meticulous, perfectionist kind of filmmaker. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this felt like the trash at the Hawthorne. Like, this wasn't a meal. This was just, I don't know what it was.
This felt like math.
Yeah.
It was math, and the equation the final answer was a nice, neat, round number.
Yeah.
With no decimal points.
And it's funny because I gave Wing Women a 4, and I feel like this is a 4 movie, but I can't be because...
No. This isn't bad. This isn't on the bad side of the number spectrum. Wing Woman was a terrible movie. It was not good.
It was not good. Okay,
it was
fair enough.
Absolutely not a good movie. There was nothing. It didn't look good. Wasn't written well. Actors were dull.
This wasn't a good Fincher project.
As far as Fincher movies go, no, this is at the bottom of the barrel. This is maybe right above Alien 3.
I don't know. Is it? I feel like that one might be a little bit more entertaining, actually.
No. They killed off Newt and Reese off screen before the credits finished rolling.
Was that his idea or was that the studio's?
I don't know whose idea it was, but it was
terrible.
On the screen and it was terrible.
Okay, fair enough. 1 to 10. What are you going to give this film? I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I have such a headache.
I'd give it a 6.
You give it a 6?
It's above average.
Only because
of the way it looks and the performances and
the people that have participated in it.
It told a very basic story. It told a basic story in a basic way, but it looked nice at least.
It did look nice. My notes, had I been consulted, redo that beginning. Show me why he is. I don't want to hear him. I don't want to hear anything from him. I want him to work in complete silence. Let me hear the beautiful classical music. Let me see what he's doing, and then let me participate in what he's going to do.
I think the classical music thing's been done already.
Listen, it's better than the Smiths. It would have made more sense for that character to be listening to that instead of the Smiths. That's all I'm saying. Classical music. No internal monologue. Show me him getting ready for this job. Don't waste my time with him going to McDonald's or whatever. Don't do it. I don't need to hear about how many people are born every day and how many people die. Don't give a shit. Show me why he is this meticulous perfectionist. Show me the job, and then show me how he springs into action. He immediately makes it to his house to then find out that his loved one has been injured. And then he goes on vendetta. The other thing I would have liked to have seen, and I think that this works well, you look at these in Mission Impossible movies, the reason why those work so well is A, Tom Cruise is nuts and will fly out of a plane willy-nilly, but also because of the other actors that sort of round out that troupe. Somebody like this would have a team. Somebody like this would have a team so that there's a voice in an ear.
This is just him. The whole purpose of the thing was, it's called The Hitman. It's just one.
No, it's The Killer.
Oh, The Killer. The Killer.
You don't even remember the name of the
name
film?
of the movie. Yeah, I've been going on the premise. It's called The Hitman the entire time. No, it's called The Killer. It's just about him. There's no team. There's no squad. It's just him. If you want to make a film with a team of people, that's a completely different movie. This has to be about one guy. The thing is, if you're going to make a film about one guy, that guy better be charming and compelling and interesting as hell.
And he's not.
And he's not. He's basically a machine. He does what he needs to do, and he gets it done. And, we read that one review where they're like, he's breaking his rules. He's not breaking them enough.
Right.
He's not breaking them in a more obvious way that we could be like, oh, well, wow, that's off the cuff. No, he doesn't really do that. And he never, ever really becomes that compelling or interesting or a sympathetic sort of character. Maybe they don't want him to become sympathetic. I don't know, but at least give that character something for us to want to. I would like to see more of that character.
Right. Or I want to see. I'm invested in his story.
Yeah.
Like by the end of this, I hated him. I hated that I had spent 2 hours on this film. I was just.
I didn't invest that much emotional energy into it to actually hate it. But I think that's the problem. I think the problem is because I'm not engaged.
I think the problem too is you attach Fincher's name to it, so you expect a certain level of quality. And yes, the aesthetics of it are there, but the story, my God, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I'm sure I've seen better college film projects than this, story-wise. So
yeah, the
there it was like such a huge letdown.
Honest, it can't. I'm always down on stuff that is derived from manga, but yeah, it came from a manga, so
yeah. But people
have French comic or whatever. But
people have taken properties and made them interesting.
All the stuff that came from like Mark Millar that was translated into movies. The reason why they succeeded is because they changed the shit out of those things.
Right.
You read the original thing and you're just like, you would never be able to make a movie with this stuff.
And yet
the hero is like cheering about raping somebody. It ain't going to work. So yeah, you need to take some liberties, especially with certain projects where it's just like, oh wow, that's a cool idea. Yeah. It's a cool concept. Work on it. I mean, we're going to spend 2 hours with this character. I want to like and enjoy this character, and not just because, oh, yeah, he's very meticulous.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think I've spoken enough about this movie. This film made me tired. Yeah.
This film made me angry.
It didn't matter. This film could not generate any kind of emotional response from me. It was just there. This is like, it's like the water of
I was going to say the wallpaper of movies.
Yeah.
It's just there.
It's just there. It's on Netflix.
They spent a pretty penny on it.
If you're a real
fan
fan of David Fincher, watch it. If you're not, don't watch it.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of actiony hitman movies, don't watch it because it's not that either.
It's not that either.
If you like voiceover, maybe this is for you.
Is there a crowd for that? I don't know.
It's the ASMR of hitman movies.
Yes. I don't know. Did I give a number? No.
Oh no, you didn't give it. Mine was 6 because it's above average as far as the way it looks, but there's nothing really special there. So yeah.
Well, to my point, I think you definitely have to take liberties, and this would have been a great property to use as a base, but you make it more interesting. You definitely need to make the lead interesting, and I wasn't interested in the lead at all. He's this robotic kind of person, but look, even the Terminator was a robot, and those one-liners made him more interesting. So you needed to come up with a better way of making this character more interesting. It didn't matter if he was a despicable person. It didn't matter.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't even care that he was worried about his girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares?
Yeah. I wasn't invested in this guy's journey at all. Didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
If anything, I was completely pissed off at him at the ending. It's like, whatever. I'm not going to rehash it, but
let's just end this. I'm done talking about this.
Did I give it a number? Why are you rushing me?
That's why I'm telling you. Come on. Let's go.
So I don't know if there's like talk of him being nominated for an award. I don't know if this is it. For this?
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the award circuit is hard up for actor nominees, but I don't think that this should be it.
No, I can't imagine this getting any kind of award recognition.
I mean, maybe for like technical stuff, sure, but not like the big ones like directing or cinematography or
it's
acting.
Nothing like that. I mean, it technically an excellent looking movie, but it's not like as though we're seeing something amazing here.
No, agreed.
It's like, oh, Mike, he wears a bucket hat in a lot of the film. Is that worthy of anything? No.
It's certainly not getting costuming awards.
No. He didn't kill the dog. There's a point for it.
There's a point for him. Yeah. He didn't kill the dog.
He could have killed the dog. He didn't.
Right. I don't know. This movie just irritated me.
What's
I'm going to give this a 5 because it was better than yesterday's, I guess, although not by much.
It was a million times. Seriously, I cannot say avoid that movie enough.
I would say avoid this. I would say avoid this.
You can't even compare the two. They're like a different species of animal. They
were both not good.
If it was not good, why are you giving it a 5?
Because this one gets a little bit more points because of the performances and because of the way it looked and because I don't know. But that's what I mean. Like in my mind, I'm like, did it look that much better? Were the performances that much better?
Yes.
I don't know. I think there's a case to be made.
No, there is no case to be made.
I feel like as much as we didn't like yesterday's film, I could get behind those characters. As silly and as
I could not
dumb as they were written.
They're all horrible characters.
I feel like
poorly written, poorly developed, all of them. Terrible. It was a terrible. That was a bad movie from top to bottom. That was a 3.
That was a 4.
No, it was a 3. You're the only one to give it a 4. I have no idea why. You should have gone lower.
It wasn't. I mean, it was terrible, but whatever. This had all the elements to be better, and it wasn't. And that's the thing that bothers me.
If I were forced to watch this one and the one from yesterday, I would pick this one. And I bet if I did watch it again, I would probably find different things about it. That other thing, there's nothing new to find there. It's just crap. It's just pure crap.
This one should have been better, and it wasn't.
I agree with that.
And that's the thing that's even more grating. You don't expect anything from the other film, but you do expect something from somebody who's had a career of hits. So for that person to not produce when you've got all that money behind you, when you have all that talent behind you, when you have all that background stuff emphasized, whether it's the cinematographer, whether it's the musical team, whether it's the costuming, whether it's the FX, whatever it is, you have that, and yet you're still making a mediocre script or a mediocre film. I don't know. And that's the thing that really upsets me because I expect more or I expect better, and I didn't get that. And that's the thing that really is irritating me. I'm still going to give him a 5, but honestly, I don't know that it was much better than yesterday's film. That's all I'm saying.
All right, you could feel that way, but seriously, yesterday's film was garbage. Was absolute garbage.
There
was nothing. No, this was not garbage at all. This was just mediocre. Yesterday's film was garbage.
All right, agree to disagree.
You're just being argumentative because you don't want to admit that this film was 1,000 times better than the one from yesterday.
I don't know about 1,000.
Yeah, I think you're just kind of you boxed yourself into a corner because you want to give this a mediocre grade, but unfortunately you gave that turd from yesterday too high a grade, and now you're like,
I don't think I gave it too high a grade.
Oh my God. You absolutely did.
It was a 4. It was a 4.
Not.
It was a 4.
Below a 4.
It was a 4.
No. yesterday's film was torture to watch. It was absolute torture to watch.
This was too.
No, this was not torture to watch. This progressed. I mean, the beginning, yes, very slow. They could have shaved off at least 15 minutes from that beginning. But after that, it progressed pretty decently. The pacing on the rest of the film, no complaints. There was never a point where I was like, pause the film. How long have we been watching this? And been like, what is happening? Is like Superman going reverse around the world and slowing stuff down? I never felt like that. Yesterday, seriously, that film was like an anomaly. There's something weird going on with that movie. If you need extra time to do stuff in your day, put that film on in the background because time will slow down. Okay. All right.
You're ridiculous. All right, agree to disagree. I mean, I still think they're both turkeys, but I think obviously I'm going to give the Fincher one a little bit better just because of the production values and the stars attached to it. Yeah, that's it. Let's just wrap this up. And that's it from us, and we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.